Welcome to the You Decide podcast. I'm Dr. Tiffany. We're going to bring you stories of ordinary people who have chosen to live an extraordinary life, outside of their comfort zones and into confidence, possibility, and certainty. You are just one decision away from living your most aligned life, because let's get real, that's what we all want. Welcome to the You Decide podcast, where we get to chat with ordinary people living an extraordinary life. Today, we're talking to my favorite girl, Callyn. She's my daughter. This is the first of many conversations with her, and this one is a continuation of her North Dakota Today debut. In their media class, they were talking about the effect of social media on mental health. And her question to me was, how do I help people? How can I be the loudest voice? And how is social media going to affect how we feel about ourselves with so much comparison? So we're going to talk about her experience a little bit. I love that she's 18. She's going to give her perspectives. And after each one of these, I'm going to speak from the mom's point of view and how it was really working with her as she was going through some of these challenges that every single kid goes through. And my hope is that we can bring to light how these kids are feeling, and then adding in social media, it's even more difficult. So welcome, Cal.
Hi.
Okay, so one of the things that rings true to you was the struggle in middle school, right?
Yes.
Okay. When I say rings true to you, I don't think that made any sense. One thing that pulls at your heartstrings when people are struggling is because of your experience in middle school, right?
Yep.
Elementary school is pretty
good.
Pretty
Yep.
good. All right. We get to 6th grade. Both schools are together. 7th grade, they split.
Yep.
Was 7th grade, that was when more difficulties started?
Well, 6th grade was still hard because I'm a nervous Nelly. So then I was super anxious for the new big school. Do you remember, like, the locker combination was freaking me out?
I was going to say, how many times do we practice the locker combination?
Everything. Literally, I went to my class that week before that the back to school, and I was doing my locker combination because I was so freaked out.
Every day. Yep.
And walking my classes and just the, like, I don't know, mental breakdown. I thought the world was ending. I wasn't going to make friends. Like, the thought of, like, wasn't going to make friends, not going to know my teachers, not going to do good in school. And then all my friends, that my worry was every time, like, I had that group of friends in elementary school. My fear was that they were going to find closer friends in middle school. So I wasn't going to be in that group, which that's what happened. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just what happens naturally. So,
right. But don't you think that's important for people to know?
Well, it's not, yeah. And there's a bigger crowd in elementary school. You're kind of just surrounded with the people that are in your class. So the 30
right.
kids. And I was really close with a few girls and a few guys, but then you grow up and they want to fit into a group, and the other people, Maddie was in theater. So then she did her thing and I wasn't in theater. So I had to find a totally different group, which stressed me out. I didn't know what was going to happen.
And then you tried band.
It wasn't good.
And band wasn't your people.
Not at all.
But I made you.
Yeah. Well, and they're awesome people. They're just weirder.
Well, they're not weird. This is what we're talking about. You as a person struggled to find your identity in middle school.
Yep.
And that's why you were kind of trying to be you and trying to be someone else. So when you were in band, those weren't your people. When if you would have been in choir, they wouldn't have been your people.
No.
And you were in sports, and they weren't always your people,
no.
Right?
Well, and they became my people in high school. Like, all the
right.
people that I played sports with in middle school, I played sports with in high school, and those are my people now. But they weren't at the time, because I didn't want to be in that group because they were more the popular, and they didn't fit what I thought I wanted to be.
Yep.
So,
which, don't you think in middle school people are starting to experiment with different people? They're starting to see that the other things happen. People are going through puberty. They're experimenting with their sexuality.
And I didn't hit puberty until 8th grade, 9th grade. So all these other girls had boobs and all these other girls had,
right.
And I was just this little peanut still. And that, like, mentally that was hard to fit in, because people would ask what grade you're in, and I was in 8th and they thought I was in 6th or 5th. Like, that was hard for me. I didn't want to be little.
Right.
So,
right. Which then you started to dress different so that you looked older.
Yep.
Do you remember this?
No.
And your style wasn't that, but this was talking about like being accepted and trying to fit in. We try to find ways that we can fit in so people will accept us for who we maybe think we are. But I mean, nobody knows who we are in middle school. But the things that you really want to talk about is understanding that all of these weird stages happen, right?
Yep. And everyone has their story, even though half the time people don't even realize it's bad. You think you're sad every day or you sit alone, but most people sit alone, like, or they're sitting with people they don't want to sit with. So like, you're not the only one that's going through all this. And that's what I want to make sure everyone knows. Like, middle school is, I've talked to a lot of my friends and they said middle school is awful. Everyone says that. And if it was good, it was because maybe you were like the top of the top and everyone worshiped you. But otherwise, middle school, everyone's trying to fit in. It's hard for everyone. So that's what people need to realize. You're not the only one that's feeling that way or going through these stages, because that's just part of it.
Right. So tell me about lunch, because that was one of your your worst things ever, was sitting alone at lunch.
Well, 6th grade for sure, I sat alone at lunch. And sometimes I would sit, like, I knew people and I would just sit by them, but I wouldn't, like, no one would talk. So it was basically just sitting there alone, just by someone. I don't know. So I just kind of block it out, actually. So I don't remember a ton, but I just know that 6th grade was not good. 7th grade hit and basketball had started. So 7th and 8th grade is when your sports can start in middle school. And that was better. And I started sitting with like Lauren and Courtney. That's when I found them. Mm-hmm. But for sure, 6th grade, that was not, I don't actually try to remember it at all. I don't remember a ton because it wasn't good.
Right. And so coming from my perspective, as we were a very close family, right? I was a chiropractor. You were adjusted. And wasn't it 6th grade that you had headaches?
Bad. I was sick.
Yeah, you were sick a lot. So do you think sickness was physical?
No.
Just speak a little bit about pain, like pain, sickness, your tummy hurt, you were anxious. Like, so what was it?
Well, headaches all the time, stomach aches, like I wanted to throw up. Was like, I had symptoms of like feeling like I had the flu for like 4 months because it was hot and cold and like just felt disgusting. It was obviously like I didn't want to go to school, so I would be super anxious. I'd have to go to school and sit alone again, or I had to try to find friends. I didn't have friends, so I was in the stage of like, it was embarrassment to go to school and try to find friends because everyone kind of either faked their way or had a group somehow, especially the Cheyenne girls. So like I had friends that went to Cheyenne, and that was the one thing I was excited for. 6th grade, I would be able to go to school with them. Well, they had their group of friends from their school, and that was really hard for me because I had a few really close friends from Cheyenne. So when I thought about wanting to be with them, but they were with other people, like I was sad. So then all these emotions, like didn't want to go to school, didn't want to have to talk to people. It was just like, I just felt disgusting. I didn't really want to be in the world. Yeah. Like, so my body was trying to fight I just felt gross. Just didn't want to.
Yep. Which is the power of how emotional stress creates a physical response, right? Obviously we knew that you weren't happy there. From a parent perspective, quitting isn't really an option. You didn't share how you felt really till afterwards. I mean, we knew things weren't great, but transition isn't great. And now you have grown into, no, you haven't grown into, you've learned how to handle transition and making it good. That change is good. Even though it's scary, you're still willing to move through it, where, you know, when you're 13, you're not, you don't even, that's not comfortable. So how would you, like, what tips would you give somebody when they're conscious that this is scary or this is uncomfortable, but they know that they're maybe not hanging around the right people? Let's just give that, we'll just give that example. If you know you're not hanging around the right people, but you're scared to be alone, because if you're choose not to be around this group of people, you might need to sit alone at lunch, or they might be mad at you, or like, what advice could you give for a kid that age? Because lots of people don't have great friends at that age.
For me, I feel like sometimes you grow up, everyone grows up. So middle school is just rough. High school, you kind of just start to figure out your value system, who you're going to hang around. Personally, a friend is a friend. So I think if I would have just had a group of friends that, even though I didn't love to be around them, they still cared enough, I think that's fine as a 6th grade and 7th grade. As you grow up, you just start to drift away from people that aren't in your value system. If they're doing drugs or like that stuff, that's obviously not something you need to be around. But I think for kids in middle school, a friend is a friend. So if you're in that group that it's just like, I think it still makes you happy to be able to be with them. And if they still have aspects of your life that you guys can connect with, I think you should surround yourself around them, because it's not healthy for people to feel alone, even because I didn't have the option to be with friends. So I've seen the aspect of, if I would have had a group that I could have just been with, I think my experience would have been way better, is not like feeling alone. So even though you might not love them, I think you just need to surround yourself with people. It makes you feel better. And I just, especially middle school, social media and being alone now, the whole suicide stuff is super, like, it's brought awareness to everyone on social media. Everyone has this young age, 10-year-olds are killing themselves. Like, whereas in middle school, people didn't really kill themselves. Like, well,
and there wasn't social media a lot when so that was what, 7 years ago, there was not social media like now. There were phones starting.
But people you didn't really know what that was. Like, whereas it would have, if I was in middle school right now, it would have been really hard for me to stay here.
Yeah.
Like, the comparisons, if you're alone and you feel like you have no one, my advice, find people, just be with people. And
you were very rigid when you were that age. You only liked certain things about certain things about certain situations, certain things are about certain people. So you kind of threw them out of the mix if it wasn't like the ideal, right? Which is your point. They don't need to be ideal. They don't need to be perfect. There is no such thing. You're going to have, I believe, the more friends you have that align with your values, they might not align with all of them initially in middle school and high school, but the more friends you have that align with a part of you will make you better and stronger, right?
Well, and everyone has those friends that one's the honest, trustworthy, you can tell all your secrets to, but you won't go out and hang out with them. So that's what I've learned. Like, you're going to have, not everyone's perfect. Everyone has what they can give you as a friend. So you're going to have your super trustworthy friend. You're going to have your super outgoing friend. You're going to have different characteristics in each friend that bring out the best in you. So the people that you're looking for that are perfect all around will actually not help you as much as the ones that have different aspects that you can use, and you help them in that way or something. So in middle school, I was really me, Courtney, Lauren, and Michaela got really close. Well, in middle school, you're kind of like, obviously, I just found friends. I was like, oh, friends. Mm-hmm. And now they're like my closest people, and I didn't think that ever. So each of them have their own characteristics that I go to them for. Or so like, just because they're not, oh, this person has everything, like you're still going to become close with them when you grow, if you grow together.
Right.
So we were all immature when we were in middle school, and now we all have our set of values, and they align in a certain way. So yeah, you just got to find people, and if the values are similar, you'll see the friendship grow. So
awesome. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about values. I believe values, well, I don't believe it. The values change. Values change from when you're 5 to 10 to 15 to 20. They change as an adult all the time. And so I actually just rewrote my values because they didn't feel, they weren't right anymore. There were certain things that I like in situations that I didn't have down. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how important it is to have your values so you know who you are. And then you can start to see some of those things pop up in those people that you love about you. Because I believe the foundation of it is, well, the foundation is you, but if you don't know what you stand for, you're going to never.
Well, it's the same in a relationship too. If you're dating someone that you like how they look, or you like maybe just one thing, it will never work. You have to, and there won't always be the perfect alignment in values in friends, boyfriends, anyone. But if you have your core values that someone else has similar, you can make anything work.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone should strive for. And personally, I've learned that when you give your friends appreciation for instance, I have a certain friend that texts me all the time and just says, I appreciate you, or gives me like very inspirational advice. I appreciate that. And that's like a major aspect of my motivation for doing certain things. I talk to her about that. Like, you need to give appreciation to the people that are giving you these and supporting you. And that's what I've learned. If you're not appreciated, a lot of times you aren't going to give that out to people. So if someone does give you a compliment or helps you in certain ways in life, like, you need to be the person that is very thankful for that.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be here today, or I wouldn't be where I am today without her support. So
yeah,
I just think that it's important to thank the people that have helped you and their values have helped you. So
yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, for anybody listening, that's obviously not just a kid thing. It's a kid, it's a parent to kid thing. It's a parent to parent, a friend to friend, everybody. We sometimes get so busy that we don't give appreciation to those that would do anything for us. So I think that's a huge, huge lesson in just slowing down and being present. And now in this busy world, you're seeing what busy is like. It's easy just to get wrapped up in your own stuff and to forget about appreciating other people and inspiring them. And
well, when you get that text or that random whatever, like, I thank you for everything you've done for me, like, that makes anyone's day. So if you can make someone's day for a split second, or it's just a text to say thank you, I love you, or that gives people a reason to want to keep helping you and keep being in your life. So
yeah, it gives everybody hope, I'd say.
Police officers, anyone
say what?
Well, if you see a police officer, you just say hi.
Oh. Okay. See, this girl just wants to say hi and smile at everybody. Because you never know what kind of day they're having.
Exactly.
I know. And that's the part of being present and getting out of our own heads so that we can just be the best we can every day.
Yep. Thank your lunch ladies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The people who do everything. The janitors of the school.
The car washers that really don't want to wash your car in the drive.
When it's 30 below. Well, maybe it wouldn't be open if it was 30 below, but
that's not a job cold. I would ever choose.
No. If you guys have any requests, let us know. We will always have a 2-part we will talk. She and I will talk, and then I will do the monologue of a mom's perspective. So how about that? It's going to be super.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. Super awesome. All right. We love you. Until next time.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening and being willing to go all in. Ditch the excuses and the comfort zones and make a decision that nothing can stop you. You can find the show notes below, and I'd love for you to share, subscribe, and rate this podcast, but only if you love it.